Hello HBA, Dan here in our most current installment of Meet the Leaders. We're here with Nicholas Donlin from Zenith Design Build. And good morning, Nicholas. How are you?
Good, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, of course.
Tell us a little bit about Nicholas. We're here to just kind of learn a little bit about who you are, and then we'll get into your business. So just start with you. How'd you get into this deal?
So how did I get into construction, remodeling? Or
All of it, yeah.
So I guess how I got into it originally was I grew up partly on a farm and whatnot, and I kind of got to do a bunch of handiwork, and we built out the interior of a shed when I was a kid and whatnot. And then wanted to flip a house because we saw it on TV and whatnot. I have a twin brother, and so got started doing that and kind of learned through YouTube and things like that, the old-fashioned, or not the old-fashioned way, I guess the new-fashioned way.
Definitely not the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, not the old-fashioned way. But we learned everything on our own to start, and then after a while did the whole college thing, and decided I wanted to learn from other people that knew what they were doing. Not that we didn't learn a lot of things that way through YouTube and whatnot, but learn through other people. And I love the remodeling side of the business, and I love the residential side because I felt like there was more freedom and less paperwork. And so I did the whole commercial thing for a while because in school that's kind of what we were taught in commercial. And enjoyed that because of the complexity of commercials. I really enjoyed that part of it. But I felt like there was a lot of paperwork and a lot of other things that you didn't actually just get a build.
Okay.
And I felt like there was more control in the residential space. We could do design and we could have influence on what it looked like versus just building something that somebody else designed. So that's really how I kind of went in the direction of residential remodeling.
Well, you said you grew up on a farm. I know that southeast Iowa. Was it Ottumwa?
Yeah.
Ottumwa?
Yeah, I grew up in Ottumwa, Iowa.
What brought you to Des Moines? What was that? The school? Was that the work? What was it?
Yeah, I think, so I traveled around a little bit after college, and I did some stuff with construction technology, and then I did like general contracting, commercial world, and I just tried some things out and traveled around. I really wanted to be closer to home. I lived in Santa Barbara for a summer, which was really, really cool. And like the office that I had, where I was at, it was right on the beach, so I could go surfing. Not that I was any good at surfing, but I tried it. So anyways, but I wanted to be closer to home because I felt like every time I was away from home, I'd come back home to like vacation almost, or get, see family. So I really liked the idea of being closer to home so I can vacation and see other cool places and travel a little bit. And so anyways, I made my way back home. Back to Iowa. At the time I was in southeast Iowa. And I really wanted to be at a place that had more opportunity for growth, that sort of stuff. And I felt like Des Moines was like a really, really good happy medium where I could be close to family, but I could also get more growth opportunities, be around just a community that was more, moving and shaking versus a community that was a little more stagnant. So that's really what brought me to Des Moines. My brother actually he was actually here at the time too. He still is. So I have a twin brother, so we were pretty close, and we are still close, and but yeah, so that's really what brought me to Des Moines, and I love Des Moines. I think that it's a great small big town. I think it's a great opportunity. You get to meet a ton of people, but it still feels like a small town, and I really like that aspect of it. So yeah.
So tell us about Zenith Design Build and your team. I know you've been in the tour a little bit, so some of our members may have had some exposure to you, but tell us about the business and what do you try to accomplish? What are your goals? What's your mission? What do you want us to know?
Yeah, so our ultimate mission is to please our customers, satisfy our customers. We say raving fans. And it's been hard with COVID and with growing a business that you learn as you go oftentimes. But it's been a really amazing challenge and amazing journey. I love the design aspect and the remodeling aspect, and it's always some sort of challenge that you got to solve. This industry isn't like the easiest industry to be in. Like, a lot of people management. It's not so like automated and technology oriented. It's more about how you deal with people and relationships, from my experience. And so we really try to satisfy our clients when it comes to the design and then the construction side. I love to do unique things and different things because I think it stretches us and challenges us. And so I think through our design, you can see that we try to do different unique things. or whether it's means and methods, or certain things in the construction side of the business. But I always try. One of the biggest things that who I am as a person is I like growth, and I feel like if I'm not growing and learning, then I'm kind of like, what do I do? Like I'm bored.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people are like that, but I just think that that's one of the biggest things that I think impact our company in terms of my leadership is I want to make sure we're growing and we're learning, and so sometimes it's harder to work for me than maybe others because I'm I don't know, harder on my staff sometimes to make sure we're growing and learning, but I love the challenge of it, and yeah, I think that one of the biggest things we try to do is just progress.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. What drew you to want to lead in the Remodelers Council? Similar passion, similar drive?
Yeah, I think I don't know. It was a couple of years ago, and somebody asked me, and I was like, "Why not?" And I was naive, but I've loved the opportunity as it's progressed, and I think it's an opportunity to grow and lead and lead different people, and also the networking. Like I think that. Besides being on the council, I think that the opportunities to network and meet other like-minded people and other people in the industry, I think is one of the best things about being a part of the RC. And since we mainly do remodeling, the RC is a perfect spot for us. I think that there's a ton of HBA activities that are really, really beneficial, so I like to be able to do both. But I think the RC offers a different aspect than the HBA. The general HBA, and one of the biggest things we're trying to push is these educational events and really try to teach and educate. And I think that from my experience that, and I think sounds from the people prior that the industry has come a long ways of educating business owners. But when I first got into business, there was a lot of things that I just had no idea.
Right.
And just like anybody when they get into business. But I think that that's one of the best things that we can do is educate business owners. And so that it makes it more enjoyable, so we're not have so many surprises constantly. But yeah.
That's interesting. So tell us a little bit about the Remodelers meetings, like the roadshow that just took place.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what everybody can look forward to for their council this year, or if they want to visit. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in the years prior, we did more of a monthly meeting structure. We just felt like that we weren't offering as much value to a more diverse group of people. And so, although we liked the way we did it, and that's how I did it in the past too, but we did, last year, for the first time in a few years, we did this thing called the Roadshow, which was more of a number of speakers and a longer event time frame, so people could come and grab lunch, they could see different speakers and actually make a little bit of an event out of it versus just a one educational session. So now this year is geared towards doing events like that. So each quarter we're doing an event. Typically it's 11 to 3. So lunch is provided, nice little perk, but lunch is provided. And we just have a bunch of different speakers come in. In the past, we've had speakers come in from Maryland or out of the state. We had a Hawaii speaker that presented, a local guy that actually lives part of his time in San Diego too. But it gives us an opportunity to really get a diverse group of people to learn from, and it makes it a little bit more of a synergy and momentum versus having just one event that you go to each month.
Great.
So we feel like it adds a lot of value to our members, and then the HPA members as well, because certainly you don't have to be an RC member to attend, but we encourage the RC membership because we think that it provides more value that way.
Well, and the Remodelers Council is known for the tour of remodeled homes. Do you have any updates? Do you have a project this year?
Yeah.
Or how are things coming along with the tour?
Yeah, so Denise is running the tour and she's doing an amazing job.
She certainly is.
Big shout out to Denise with Compelling Homes. Yeah, we have the tour. It is after the Home Show Expo, so that's one of the biggest changes this year is they're kind of partnered together,
right?
Sort of one after the other.
Yeah.
We do think that's going to be a huge benefit to our members, and we also think that we can both add value to the Home Show Expo as well as our tour. So it'll be a really, really great show, and I know it will because Denise is doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
But I think there'll be more to come as we progress through. We're a little ways away from that, but there's certainly a lot of exciting things about that. We have, I believe, 10 verbals on homes, and our goal is to have 12. So if you want to put a home in there, I suggest you reach out to Denise or myself. But it'll be a really, really great showing, as it is every year. So.
The first weekend of October will be here before we know
I
it.
know.
So
It's going to come up really fast.
well, thank you. If you want to know anything more about the Remodelers Council, you want to get to meet Nicholas, you want to learn more about opportunities that exist, that contact information was on your screen. Feel free to reach out. Thanks, Nicholas.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.